All right, I want to make this video because it's going to be raw and it's going to be no edits. It's just me talking to the camera about, what I feel. And, this past few days has been just like another roller coaster just thrown at me by the universe. But, you know, something that I've noticed and come to realize throughout this journey is that even when things are not even going my way, or when things are seeming bleak, or maybe an unexpected thing comes my way. Yesterday I had like an expense that was really really unexpected, and I knew it was coming, but then sometimes the universe, it'll come and it'll punch you a bit harder than what you were even expecting and what you were even thinking about. But you know uh even when that happens, you're in your mind, and even like me, I'm overthinking. I'm overthinking to the point where it's like, what am I gonna do? I'm not in the position that I'm thinking that I'm gonna be in. Things are not playing out in the way that I want them to, and things are not looking the way that I planned on them looking. But it's not my plan at the end of the day. It's the universe's plan. It's God's plan that is going to work out in the weird mysterious way that it does. Because even after feeling that way for a couple hours and whatever else, I had one of my friends call me, and it was his birthday yesterday. So I ended up going to hang out with him, and make sure that I wasn't only thinking about myself, because that's one thing that I really struggle with, is that I'm really selfish when it comes to this, and I want to make sure that myself is the only thing that I'm focusing on. But sometimes I don't stop and pause to think about other people, and actually allowing them to you know have a foothold, or the people that I care about having a place where I can actually dedicate some time out to them. But I went down there, and then unexpectedly, that money that I paid, that unexpected expense that was so much more, it came back to me and more through just a crazy feat. And it was so unexpected how I was able to get you know thousands of dollars just back to my bank account. But it came back plus more, and it was insane. And at that moment, I really knew. I was like, this is the exact journey. This is God literally helping me out in the same exact day, and I have no doubt that he is real, and that he has a plan to make me happy, and be able to give me fulfillment. But it's still my responsibility to take on what I need to do in my own life to be able to make that happen. But really, really, what I want to make this video about is, there's no better time than the present to be starting, you know, whatever it is that you're trying to pursue in life. And that should look like a better future, hopefully, for yourself and what you're hoping for. But you know, just at the present moment, even with you know hopefully the audience that's listening to this, you're someone in your 20s, or you're even younger than that, and you're really worried about, where am I going to end up on this spectrum of life? Where am I going to get spat out at the other end? And it's like, I can't tell you exactly where you're going to be spat out. It's going to be your own journey that you're going to have to pursue to be able to figure that out for yourself. But I do know that throughout the journey, it's going to be no better time than right now, that you can take action in and of itself in your own life, to be able to put all the risk that you have in this one spot, and be able to concentrate it onto what you want to actually get out of life. And whether that be better life for yourself and better life for the people around you, you're going to have to focus on yourself at the beginning, and be able to make room for other people at the end. But you know the whole point is that if you're someone that is even in your 20s and you're thinking about this, you are ahead at the moment, even if it doesn't feel like it. But you're preparing yourself. But you know at this current moment, if you put all the risk that you have in your life, you know everything that you have into this, you can actually say, I don't have any regrets. I have tried my absolute best. But the true reality is that most people have never actually tried their best on something, and they don't actually know what it looks like, and they don't actually know what it feels like, because they don't want to go through pain, and they don't want to go through the struggle that comes with it, and They don't want to go through the rough patches, but I'm telling the universe at this moment that, I'm ready for the rough patches ahead because I know that there's going to be more of them before the end of this journey and before the end of the tunnel. And wherever the tunnel ends it isn't even expected. I don't even know where the tunnel ends. It's like you're driving through a tunnel at max speed with a blindfold on, bro, and you'll never know when you get to the end of the tunnel because you just won't know. Maybe you'll be able to see some sunshine through that blindfold, but you'll never know when the actual tunnel is over. But it's going to be no better time in your life than to risk everything right now, because if you risk everything right now and everything doesn't go to plan, guess what, brother? You're back in the same exact spot that you're in currently, at the current moment right now. And you're never going to progress anywhere unless you actually give something your insane true all, and actually put your actual effort into it. Just it makes me so mad because so many people will never actually realize their true potential, and they'll never actually come to fruition for what they're actually meant to do with their life, or they'll never actually act on some thoughts that they've had. I had this thought for this video, so guess what? I sat down and I clicked record because you know it was my destiny to sit down at this table and record, and hopefully somebody out there is watching this, and they're in the same exact spot that I was, or one of the same exact spots that I am, and then they're looking at this and they're saying, if he could do it, why can't I? And that's exactly what I had when I was watching these types of videos too. The exact same feelings. I'm getting emotional even thinking about the feelings that I have. But I know that there's no better time to go all in. I know that there's no better time for me to put all of my risk on the table and be able to say, this is exactly what I want to do with my life, and this is exactly how I'm going to do it. And I'm ready for the universe to throw more punches at me. But you know what? If I get knocked back down, guess what, motherfucker? I'm getting back up, and you're gonna have to hit me again. You're gonna have to hit me even harder next time because I'm gonna be ready for that punch. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be dodging. It's all training at the end of the day. It's all that it is. But you know, if you're in the same exact spot as me, if you're the same exact age, if you're turning 21, or if you're 2020 or 21 in 2026, then I know that we're on the same path, and maybe you'll get there faster than I will. Maybe you'll even be on a better and fast tracked path than I am. But if you're younger than this, you have time, but you don't have that much time because you have maybe until the end of high school to know what you're gonna do, or maybe until the end of college, and then life is gonna catch up real quick with what you're actually with where you're actually at, and what the decisions that you made coming up to that point have actually gotten you. And you're going to realize real quickly what those decisions, and if they're horrible decisions, you're going to get slapped in the face, and life is going to tell you, you know what, you made all the wrong decisions and made all the horrible decisions to get yourself in this exact position. But you know what, even if you're in that exact position, you still have time to be able to change the trajectory of your life and be able to dictate where you're going to go. Because I know exactly that I was in that exact same place. I was fat, I was overweight. I sat for 2 years after high school not knowing exactly what I wanted to do with my life. I had no clue. And then 2 years I went by. I was like, you know what? It's time for the college experience. It's time for me to party. It's time for me to do drugs. It's time for me to just fucking throw everything up in the air and just, see where I land. And it's like, you know what? After a certain amount of that, it was like, you know what? I don't want to just see where I land. I don't want to just throw the dice and see, if I can roll a six maybe, or if I can just get something out of life that, somebody else chooses, or maybe I'll get a good job, maybe I'll get a bad one. Who knows? You know what? I want to take control of my own life, and I don't want to just end up wherever I'm spat out of the other tube of this fucking system that's so broken and that I don't care about. It's really that simple. And after realizing that nothing actually matters in your life other than the things that you actually care about and you actually care to pursue, then it got a lot easier for me, because then I'm able to take my focus and just say, it's gonna be the time for me to go all in on this one thing. And you know what? If you're starting to change your life, and if you're starting to change your environment, or what you're trying to do, your actual trajectory, there's going to be a lot of pushback that you get from the people in your circle or just the universe at first, because you know what? You probably never faced anything hard in your life, but it's going to get hard once you start to actually try to push back and say, you know what? This is the dictation of my life, and I'm the author. I can dictate whatever I want from the end career of this. So, you know, it's a point where I've stopped going into the job that I hate. I've stopped working there for now. I've put myself in a position where, you know, I need to make it work for the summer. I need to make sure that this thing actually works out. And you know what? My back is against the wall. So guess what? I'm gonna just keep swinging until I can get my back out of the wall and I can get out of the corner of the ring. And you know what? The opponent will be knocked down no matter what. It'll be David and Goliath, brother, if it has to be, because even if I fall flat on my face, even if I fall down, even if I lose everything, you know what? I'll live in my fucking car until I make it work, brother. I will do anything it will take because I know exactly that other people have come from worse situations than what I have and what I've done. And people have made it even before my age. People have made it before my time on this earth. It is absolutely possible, and nobody else is going to be able to put me in a box to be able to dictate. You know, this is where you're going to end up in life, because that's not me. That's not exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to fight, and I'm gonna come out the other side a winner, brother. Just emotional thinking about it because, geez, bro. Oh, brother, man. Just 5 years from now, I know that if I'm looking back on this life, I'm gonna be saying, you know, thank you so much, you know, Cameron, right now on May, whatever this is, May 20th, a Wednesday, he's gonna be saying, you know what, thank you so much for you know, putting your time in and putting your effort in to you know, better our life, brother. Jeez, bro, I'm gonna have to end this because I'm just getting so crazy emotional, but you know, and the end of the story is that you can be the author of your own life, and I know this for a fact because I've already started to rewrite it. So, you know, if you see my progression throughout the next couple of years, don't be surprised when I'm looking back on this video and I'm in tears, because I know exactly where I'm gonna be.